It took 10 years and 18 movies to lead up to this. Hey everybody, Koricon here, and this is my spoiler-free review of Avengers Infinity War. I got to see it tonight. This movie is directed by the Russo brothers, who also did the last two Captain America movies, Civil War and Winter Soldier. And its screenplay was written by Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, who that writing team had worked on all of the Captain America films and some other ones sprinkled around. I think one of them worked on Thor: The Dark World. But anyway, the Captain America movies were good. Those are my favorite trilogy, I guess you would say, out of all of the other films that were in there. And they proved themselves right again. I loved this movie. I was surprised they actually pulled it off. Now, it's one of those films that has so many people in it with so many stories going on that just making a coherent film is a feat in itself. But making a film that makes you want to cheer at moments, gasp at other moments, is incredible that they actually pulled that off. However, you do need 10 years and 18 films to lead up to this movie, because you have so many characters in there that you can't give them characterization. So you need all of those other movies to do the characterization for you. So when we jump into this, you already know who everybody is, you know their backstories, you know where they're coming from, you don't have to touch on any of that. Now all they have to do is focus on the villain, Thanos, and the children of Thanos. And we got a little bit of Thanos sprinkled throughout the series, mostly end credit scenes, one in the first Avengers when he's talking with Loki, but that's about it. And so that's where your characterization comes from, is with Thanos. And they did a great job with him, which is kind of surprising in that Marvel's been known for having two-dimensional villains. And going into this, I was a little worried that they wouldn't be able to pull off a villain to this magnitude. And they did. They surprised me pleasantly, and I'm very happy with that. Along with Thanos, you have the children of Thanos, which are kind of his generals. You know, they do a lot of the groundwork for him. For most of them, they didn't get too much characterization. They were more just grunts. But Ebony Maw was a great villain as well. And I kind of wish we had more with him, because he was a very good villain. And I love the way his voice acting was. His body and everything with the motion capture was great, but the voice was pure. I loved that voice. It was great. Since this is a spoiler-free review, I'm not going to really be talking about the story. Basically, Thanos has the Infinity Gauntlet. He's trying to put the Infinity Stones on it, and the Avengers are trying to stop him. Other than that, I don't want to say anything else, but I would say try and see it on the biggest screen possible, because it's great. I don't know if the 3D would really add very much to it. I'm personally not a fan of 3D movies. I think it's a novelty. But if you like 3D movies, check it out. But I saw it on RPX, which is Regal's Cinema's version of IMAX. And the sound, the big screen, it was totally worth it. So I would highly suggest seeing it in IMAX. If you're thinking about doing it, go do it. The story had a nice flow throughout the entire thing. I thought it was edited well. You didn't feel like there were too many harsh jumps from one storyline to another, since there's multiple things going on. It seemed to intercut with each other pretty fluid. I think there were only maybe 2 cuts in there that I thought were a bit abrupt. However, you kind of needed to. I mean, there wasn't really a way of making that any more fluid than it could have been. So, and I think the Russo brothers knew that. They're like, we can't really make this any more, transition any better, so we might as well just go for it. And I don't think many people noticed them. So it was more of just, here we go, which was fine, because the whole movie is like a lot of action fight scenes going on. Now, one of the problems I had was there was too much of the shaky cam and close-ups. Now, there were some quick cuts, but I didn't think they were that bad because it didn't distract too much from what was going on. It was more of like someone grabs someone and you see a close-up of a face, close-up of a face, close-up of a face. And it's really just moving from one face to the other, but there's no movement going on, so it doesn't drop you out of it. But the shaky cam part made it a little bit difficult to follow what was going on. However, the camera was pulled back a little bit, so you would see more of the characters, or both of the characters that were fighting each other, in the same frame, so it was easier to follow. But the close-ups, there were too many close-ups where the entire screen was like right here. You didn't need the head to be the entire screen. So I would have liked if they pulled the camera back, you know, even a few more inches, just to make it like here instead of here. And some of the fight scenes, you would have like a leg would go out of frame because they were so close to each other. So I would have liked the camera pulled back a little bit on the fight scenes and a little less shaky cam. I don't mind handheld as long as you're trying to keep it steady, but the camera shook a little bit too much. But again, I still knew what was going on. I could tell what was going on. I didn't feel too distracted or confused. It was just more of a little bit of annoying to me. So it's still filmed better than a lot of other action movies that I've seen. I gotta say, I had a lot of fun with this movie. It was crazy that they were able to make a coherent story with all of those characters. You did need the 10 years and 18 films to lead up to it. I'm going to give Avengers Infinity War an A-. I can't wait to see it again and pick up on things that I missed the first time. There were a couple of things that I thought should have had a more emotional impact than they did, but it wasn't bad. It's more of like after the fact, you're thinking about it and you're kind of soaking it in. There's a lot of stuff that happens in the movie, so I think it would be impossible for you to feel too emotional about everything, and you really are just going to be kind of thinking about it afterwards for a few hours, like what was this, what was going on, oh my gosh, like you almost need to see it multiple times. And from what I understand, this movie is being sold out everywhere. Even my fans from my other channel in India are saying it was one of the fastest to sell out. So all over the world it's being sold out. Yeah, I'm gonna be interested to see what the weekend numbers are, because it feels like it's gonna be insane. But tell me what you guys think. No spoilers on this video, please. I'm going to be doing some spoiler videos. I'll be filming one with Matt and Ian next week. I might be doing something with Aristotle. We're going to figure that out. Aristotle Full Throttle. And so yeah, I'm probably going to be jumping around to a bunch of different spoiler videos. And I will, of course, be posting all of those on my social media. So go ahead and follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Usually Facebook and Twitter, I post everything. Instagram gets whatever pictures, but that's about it. So let me know your thoughts. Like, share, subscribe, and tell your friends. And I will see you on the next video.